Alright, what's going on, everyone? We have the teaser. We have Mark Rosewater's teaser. If you're not familiar with these, a few days before previews start, Mark Rosewater releases this little teaser, and I like to go through these, read them, try to figure out what he's talking about. Basically, they're really just hints at future cards, what kind of cards are going to be in Kamigawa. And we'll see if we can figure it out. See if we can figure out what cards he's talking about, what we're going to see in this upcoming set. So first off, we have two different pairings of creature types get tribally connected. So what I'm assuming this means is stuff like Death Baron. So Death Baron is a lord that pumps both zombies and skeletons, right? So skeletons and zombies are tribally connected with this card. We even have one of these in standard right now with this card, which gives skeletons, vampires, and zombies +1/+1. So we get vampires there as well. Another common one is like these creatures, krakens, leviathans, octopuses, serpents also get tribally connected. You could still have kraken lords and things that care about octopuses, but they also get combined here. And my best guess, I have a million tabs open. My best guess, if you played during the original Kamigawa block, you know that demons and ogres were tribally connected. So basically, like, we have this demon that makes you discard if you don't control an ogre, right? So you get a 5 mana, 5/4 with trample, but it has a drawback unless you control an ogre. We have this ogre that gets an extra ability if you control a demon. This ogre can regenerate if you control a demon. This is a demon that makes you sacrifice all non-ogres, so you want to play it in an ogre deck. So basically, in the original Kamigawa block, demons and ogres were tribally connected already. So I'm assuming that that's going to be it. Although it does say two different pairings, so that means there's going to be two. So we're going to get ogres and demons, I would assume. But what would the other one be? Because there would be another one, right? I don't know. Maybe something to do with spirits or something. But definitely demons and ogres. I have to assume that you're coming back and being tribally connected again. Next, we have a black instant with destroy target creature or planeswalker that can be cast for 2 mana. Note that it doesn't say that it has a mana cost of 2, just that it can be cast for 2. That might be an indication that it's going to be let's see, I've got this something like Bloodchief's Thirst, right? Which it can be cast for 1, but if you want to destroy big stuff, you have to pay the kicker cost. We have stuff like Bone Shards and Spark Harvest as well. We also, technically, we have Dreadbore, which can destroy target creature or planeswalker. So that's exactly what we're getting, but it's a sorcery. So this is an instant, and most instants that can do this either cost more, like Bloodchief's Thirst technically costs 4 if you're going to destroy anything, or they have a drawback like a Fateful Absence, 2 mana, instant, destroy target creature or planeswalker, but they get to investigate. So we have Fateful Absence already, so I would expect something like this, right? A 2 mana instant, but with a drawback, and probably not as good as Fateful Absence. I don't think they're going to print another card like this in standard back-to-back. I would expect something more like Bloodchief's Thirst, a common or an uncommon that has some sort of a drawback or an additional cost to pay. Next, we have a popular legendary creature from Champions of Kamigawa block returns in a new form. So we already know that the legendary dragons are coming back. We got that spoiled at the very beginning here. The legendary dragon spirits, and this is a new form technically because it wasn't called it wasn't at Sushi in the previous set. So I guess this is sort of, but it has to be a popular legendary creature. This is just a different. It's a legendary dragon, but it's not the same. So my other thought was Heartless Hidetsugu. We already saw this. This was already spoiled. So this is a legendary creature that's returning. Apparently on his blog he said it's not this though. So if it's not this, it's hard to say. The important thing to remember though, I have all the legends here. The important thing to remember is this is thousands of years in the future, or 1,000 years in the future. So the humans and stuff should all be dead by now, right? It's not going to be Azusa. It's not going to be Bushi Tenderfoot. It's not going to be 8.5 Tails. All of these, most of the stuff should be dead. I would assume that it's either going to be a demon or a spirit, right? Or a dragon, or something like that. Something immortal, like Hirobi would make sense. I would assume that Hirobi could still be around, 1,000 years later. Anami as well, maybe Anami, something like this. Maybe some demons, I don't know. I assume Kiki Jiki is long dead. Could Kira, the great glass spinner, still be around? Maybe, because it's a spirit, right? So, I don't know, but just remember that the humans and stuff should all basically be dead by now. So, unless it's like Konda, right? He's indestructible, but is that the same thing as immortal? I don't know, but it's not gonna be this guy. I don't know. Are the moon folk immortal? I don't think so. So probably not. Or what if like one of the snakes come back as a spirit, right? Like what if they're long dead but they're a spirit now? Could that be it? Maybe, I don't know. Next we have an unnamed mechanic that cares about you having two things that Magic has had since its beginning. So my first thought here is Legends, right? Legends, but they're not technically from the beginning. They started in Legends. This is the sorted by oldest, so technically not since the beginning, but Legends were an important part of original Kamigawa. So maybe it's like you have to control a legend and an artifact or something. Another thing to consider, Historic from Dominaria did this. It was Historic cared about artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. So this doesn't fit the criteria because first off, it says an unnamed mechanic and Historic is named, and we haven't had sagas since the beginning. But something like Historic with like maybe like artifacts, legendaries, and enchantments, right? Something like that could make sense. I think it gets a little bit too convoluted. If you could definitely have too many names where it's like, all right, Historic is artifacts, legends, and sagas, but this other keyword is artifacts, legendaries, and enchantments. Like that gets a little confusing. So I don't know, but my first thought is something like Historic. I just think that gets maybe too convoluted. Next we have finish a 5-card cycle, many years in the making. I saw this on Reddit. It was all over Reddit. People, I think, have this figured out already. It's Kodama. These are spirits of trees. You have the center tree, the east tree, the north tree, the south tree. We don't have a west tree, so a Kodama of the west tree makes a lot of sense to finish this 5-card cycle, right? I think that's probably going to be it. Makes a lot of sense. Next, we have one of Tamio's children gets a legendary creature card. So I don't really follow the story at all. Not since the original Weatherlight story. I haven't really paid attention in like a decade or more. But I looked up, this is the NMTG wiki page on Tamio. She apparently has a few children, several children according to this, including Hiroku, Rumio, and a Nezumi. Nezumi, if you're not familiar with them, those are the rats. Will there be an image here? They're the rat ninjas. Yeah, here, these guys. The rat ninjas, so apparently Tamio hasn't adopted one of these. Sure. Next we have a new creature token with an ability not seen before on a card. So this is probably just a new mechanic from the set. That seems to happen a lot with these teasers. You're tempted to go back and find old abilities that haven't been printed, but most likely it's something new. It could be this one. Whatever this new unnamed mechanic that cares about having two things will just be on a token, right? Next we have two popular cycles from Champions of Kamigawa return with a new twist. So first off, we already know that the spirit dragons are coming back, right? We already know these are coming back. We know the red one's coming back. Oh yeah, it is a different name. It was the red one was this before, but we know that there's new legendary dragons, so I guess that counts, right? It's a popular cycle. It's from Kamigawa. It has a new twist because they're different dragons, right? They're legendary dragon spirits, but they're not these ones. They're new ones. So I guess that makes sense. So what would the other one be? Shrines is the most obvious, right? It has to be shrines. How are they going to do Kamigawa without shrines? So I would expect shrines. Shrines would be my best guess. Some other cycles, this cycle wasn't very popular. The Deceivers weren't popular. There is the legendary lands, and I think we're getting these. I think we're getting legendary lands, but I don't know if these are popular enough to be considered a popular cycle, right? So I'm a little bit dubious of that. Zubras would make sense, right? These have been popular with brewers, or like Jank brewers kind of love these cards, but is that popular enough? I don't know. We also have the other sets. Betrayers of Kamigawa has Most of this isn't super like the patrons I wouldn't consider to be super popular. The most popular here is probably the shoals. These have been like banned and stuff, very popular competitively. So maybe those come back with a new twist. Although considering how they've been banned and whatnot, I'm a little bit dubious of that. They seem dangerous. And saviors, it didn't have too many popular cycles except for maybe the epic cycle. So maybe there's a new round of epic cards. So yep, those are all options. My guess though, the legendary dragons and the shrines would be my best guess. Next we have a creature that makes a legendary frog creature token. So I did a quick search on Google. This is like a very top-down set. So I just did a quick search on frog legends from Japan and I came across this. So this is a legend about a toad riding protagonist in Japanese folk lore. So maybe this. Apparently there's different versions of it. There's also a ninja who uses shape-shifting magic to morph into a gigantic toad. Technically it's a toad, but in magic they'd probably just convert it to a frog because that's the normal card type. So it's possible we're going to get a shape-shifting ninja that produces a legendary frog token. This would make sense too because technically in the story it's supposed to be the ninja transforming into the frog. But if they want to, a toad technically, but if they want to convert that to magic, they convert it to a frog, of course. And then they make it a legendary frog to sort of represent this person transforming into the frog. So maybe this. Look for a shape-shifting ninja that produces a legendary frog token, and it might be this. Next, we have two new Yamazaki. So if you're not familiar with this, we had the brothers Yamazaki. People are already saying maybe it's going to be sisters. The sisters Yamazaki could make sense. So this was really interesting. First off, it broke the legend rule because you could have two of them in play. It's a legendary creature, but you could have two of them in play, and if you had both of them, they get +2/+2. And another cool thing, this was very unique at the time. They had different art. There was two different arts for it, and yeah, we're getting another one of these apparently. Next we have this is just straight text from a card. We have you may cast target enchantment card from your graveyard. Pretty self-explanatory. We're getting more and more enchantment synergies with the graveyard. We just had Innistrad with these spirits interacting with the graveyard and stuff and being enchantments. So more cards caring about enchantments in the graveyard. We have where X is the number of time this ability has resolved this turn. So I thought this phrasing was kind of weird. So I looked up to see if we've had this before, and we have, and they've all been on elementals. I can't say it's going to be on an elemental this time, but we have had a Ashling, for example. You can activate this ability, put +1/+1 counters on her, and then if you activate it more than 3 times, you remove the counters, and it kind of is like a board wipe of sorts. So this is where X is the number of times this ability has resolved this turn. I would guess it's like, maybe it's like a 2 mana, deal X damage, where X is the number of times this ability has resolved. So it's like, you pay 2, it doesn't do anything, then you pay 2, it does 1, then pay 2, it does 2, then pay 2, it does 3, right? It's dealing more and more damage each time. Could be something like that. That could be dangerous for infinite combos and stuff, so I don't know, but we've had similar stuff on elementals before. Next we have, whenever you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, copy that spell. So this is very similar to what we had up here. Where is it? Here, an Unnamed Mechanic that cares about having 2 things. So this isn't the same thing because this cares about 3 things, right? Artifacts, instants, and sorceries. But this seems to indicate that there's a lot of sort of like card type matters stuff. The original Kamigawa block was focused on legendary creatures, and this set, from what we've seen, it seems to care a lot about like just card types. So yeah, it's something that's going to duplicate all of your artifacts, instants, and sorceries. I assume it's going to be an artifact itself, or actually, would it be? That'd be kind of scary, actually. An artifact that will duplicate itself the next one you play. So maybe it's like an enchantment that will start duplicating artifacts, instants, and sorceries. That would actually make a lot of sense, and probably an expensive one. Next, we have the first activated ability of an artifact you activate. Each turn costs 2 less to activate. So we get a reduction on an activation cost once per turn. Actually seems pretty cool, kind of like this. It can't be too crazy because you only get an extra 2 mana per turn, right? This is like a mana rock. Imagine playing a mana rock that adds 2 mana. That's sort of what this does. It reduces the activation cost by 2, but you can only do it once, so it basically only nets you a 2 mana advantage once per turn. But it's interesting. Next we have, then repeat this process for an enchantment and a planeswalker. This is very, very weirdly worded. So we have similar stuff, right? We have a ton of cards that repeat the process. This is a search for repeat this process. Cultivator Colossus does it. Countryside Crusher does it. Professor Onyx does it. Repeat this process. We get this wording sometimes, but the fact that it says repeat this process, repeat this process for an enchantment and a planeswalker, my guess is it would be something like reveal cards off the top of your library until you reveal a card type, and then do something. We don't know what, but do something, and then repeat that process until you hit an enchantment and a planeswalker, right? Like let's say there's a card that says reveal cards off the top of your library until you reveal an artifact and put it into your hand, and then repeat this process for an enchantment and a planeswalker. I don't think that would be it, because that would be crazy unless it was super expensive, like it costs 10 mana. But that would make sense for the card types. And also, once again, that's another instance of caring about card types and a variety of card types. A lot of these cards that he's showing us care about a wide variety of card types. So I think that's going to be relevant. But yeah, I don't know what this is going to do exactly, but it's interesting. Next you may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with the chosen card. So this is going to be an activation cost, kind of like a sacrifice a permanent to do something. Make the opponent sacrifice a permanent. Maybe like choose a permanent that your opponent controls, then you can sacrifice a permanent of that type to make them sacrifice a permanent of that type or something. Or like maybe something like choose a permanent your opponent controls, then you may sacrifice a permanent to destroy that permanent. So basically, like, if you want to destroy their enchantment, you can destroy it by sacrificing one of your enchantments. If you want to destroy a creature, you have to sacrifice a creature. If you want to destroy an artifact, you have to sacrifice an artifact, right? And that, again, if that's the case, it seems to give the impression that people are going to have a wide variety of card types on the battlefield. The number one thing I'm getting from this is card types matter in this set. It's very common, at least in this teaser article. Next we have, you may tap any number of untapped creatures. Very common wording, tap any number of creatures to deal damage or gain life, or convoke, right, reduce the cost of a spell, stuff like that. Very common, hard to say what this is going to do. Next we have, the legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control. So if you're not familiar, of course, the original Kamigawa block, very, very legend focused. It was a legendary matters set. We had the brothers breaking the legend rule. We had Day of Destiny pumping legends. We had punishment for legends. Destroy a land. If that land is legendary, they sacrifice another one. We even had a similar card to this. Where was it? Here. Mirror Gallery. The legend rule doesn't apply. Do people know about this card? Is this popular on Command? It can't be, right? Is this no? Because Commander decks, you can only have one of each card. So why would you want to break the legend rule? Here's, by the way, guys, if you want to know if a card is popular in Commander, you just click on it and, oh, wait, that's a $33 card. What? Okay, never mind. It is popular in Commander. Is this popular in Commander? Why else would it be $33? It must be. So yeah. Anyway, the point is, original Kamigawa cared about legends, and then having the legend rule doesn't apply. Yeah, we kind of have this. Could be just a reprint of Mirror Gallery, although I'm not sure. Hang on, what's the legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control. The legend rule doesn't apply. Oh, this applies universally. The legend rule doesn't apply. It doesn't say to you, right? Is there a it just says it doesn't apply, so this must be universal for both players. But this is legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control, so it's a better version of this potentially, because your opponents can't take advantage of it, just you. So that's notable. Next we have, That ability triggers an additional time. So pretty simple, self-explanatory there. Something that's going to double up triggers. Next we have, if it has dealt 10 or more damage to that player this turn, they lose the game. Kind of reminds me of Inferno of the Star Mounts. You know, if you can give it 20 power, it deals 20 damage, but if you can make its power 20, they kind of die anyway. It has to attack. But something similar to this. And then next we have the creature types. We'll go over this super quick. We have a fox pilot, you know, Star Fox.
Very original, Captain.
We also have a ninja turtle. Oh, no, wait. It's a turtle ninja.
Very original, Captain.
We have a Moonfolk Samurai. That's interesting because Moonfolk definitely were not samurai-like. They were the intellectual sort of magic users, not the fighters. But okay, we have a Goblin Artificer. That's notable, Artificer. So we have another. It's an artifact creature too. It's an artifact Goblin Artificer, and it's going to be caring about artifacts because I swear this set cares about card types. Next we have an Artifact Ogre Warrior. Again, very weird, Artifact Ogre Warrior. But ogres are back. Lends some credibility to the demon ogre combination thing. We have a Rat Rogue, and it's an enchantment creature, notably. So that's, again, we have another card type matters. We have enchantment creatures similar to Theros, and we have a Rat Rogue. Not sure why there would be enchantment creatures, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. We have an egg. We've been getting a lot of these lately. Something that's going to sit on the battlefield and explode. I would guess, considering that it's Kamigawa, that it would be a snake egg. In the original Kamigawa, we had the hatchery. Not technically an egg, but it got charge counters, and then it put out snake tokens, and it's a hatchery. It's eggs, right? The snakes laid eggs. So my best guess, something snake related. Although we don't have any snakes here, do we? Yeah, I don't know. Next we have Kieran Spirit. So Kierans were in the original Kamigawa. Notably, by the way, this is a cycle. We had Bounteous, Celestial, Cloudhoof, Infernal, Skyfire. So this could be one of the returning legends. Although, were these popular? I don't know. But legendary Kieran Spirits were a thing. So there's that. And then we have a legendary goblin. Oh wait, we do have a snake. Wait, I was wrong. No, there is a snake here. And there are enchantments. So interesting. But we have a goblin samurai, and goblins were warriors. Zozu was a warrior. We have a goblin see, technically there were samurais, and Aki Underling is kind of, but not technically a samurai, right? It's a warrior who's training with a samurai. So yeah, we had sort of goblin samurais. We had this dude. We had this one kind of, but not technically samurai. So you know, we're getting these guys, right? Aki Underling, expecting something like this. But yeah, there we go, guys. We got the snake druid as well. But that's it. That is the Kamigawa Neon Dynasty spoiler. Spoiler start 27th. Where is it? Yeah, here. 27th at 9 a.m. PT. That's the big announcement stream thing. Yep, there you go, guys. We'll see how accurate my predictions are. But that's the article. We will see after everything is revealed how accurate I am. But for now, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.